Did you know that approximately 1% of the population develops schizophrenia? Not only that, schizophrenia very rarely appears before the age of 15 or after the age of 40. Schizophrenia is a mental disorder that is characterized by confusion and an inability to respond, communicate, or behave appropriately. This mental disorder can mess with people's daily life because of how much of a difference the person may act. There are 5 recognized types of schizophrenia. They are catatonic, paranoid, disorganized, undifferentiated, and residual. In this speech, I will inform you guys about how the mind works when you have this disorder, what they do for the treatment, and the history of it. Those who have this disorder may hear things or see things that aren't even there. They will also think things are out to get them when really they aren't. When you have this mental disorder, you start to lose touch with reality. Though no single change in brain structure separates schizophrenia from any other disorder, several studies of the brain over the last few years have identified conditions that often seem to go along with being schizophrenic. Many experts have long believed that the relatively 2 different disorders. However, researchers at NIMH have found that children who develop it in their late teens. MRI scans suggest that both groups often have enlargements of the brain fluid-filled ventricles and reduced amounts of other brain tissue. These conditions seem to increase with age. It's possible they may begin when a baby is developing in the mother's womb. On the other hand, another study suggests that the drugs given to treat schizophrenia can themselves affect the brain structure. The brain increases in size for schizophrenics who use antipsychotic drugs, but not for those who do not use them. A study involving PET scans suggests that schizophrenics, who are often forgetful, show a different pattern of the brain activity for most people while trying to remember words. Schizophrenics have more difficulty thinking about the meanings of words while memorizing them. The ultimate significance of this and other findings is still being debated. How do you get schizophrenia? What is known about schizophrenia is that it is caused by changes in the brain and its functions. Whether these changes happen during development or while the patient is growing up, it is just not understood. Why you do what you do for the treatment. Schizophrenia is treated with medication and therapy. Sometimes people with this disorder have to be hospitalized during psychotic happenings to protect themselves and others and get intensive therapy and medical treatment. It is none of the medications used today can cure schizophrenia, but in most cases, they can make the disease much less devastating. Medications currently available to treat schizophrenia are called antipsychotics and can be broken down into 2 basic categories: the neuroleptics, which are the older medications, and the atypicals, which are the newer medications. Doctors have much to consider when choosing medication, such as the sex and weight of the patient's health, the age of the patient, the severity of the patient's symptoms, and how many psychotic episodes the patient has experienced. The earliest accounts of mental illness come from the Egyptians, who did not feel that there was a difference between mental and physical illnesses. They had thought that the heart was the part of the body that was sick when someone was suffering from mental illness. They believed that illnesses were caused by a loss of money, faith in gods, or statues. Primitive people in some parts of the world viewed traumatization or the practice of drilling into a person's head as a valid medical procedure. This illustration shows some equipment used in the practice of traumatization. Their cure was to sit with the person and to talk to them about their thoughts, much like we do in modern therapy today. If the talking could not solve any problems, the Egyptians felt that it would be all right for the sufferer to commit suicide, because that action was not considered wrong in their society. Even today, no study has identified a trait that is present in all the schizophrenia sufferers' studies, but the search continues. I hope you all enjoyed my speech on schizophrenia, and I hope it informed you all on the things you didn't know about this mental disorder. Thanks for listening. Can't wait to watch your guys' videos.